Retrofit presents Old School. I'm Professor Mikey. You are in attendance. Hey, welcome to Old School. Bluesy big band rock was a genre attempted by a handful of bands in the late 60s and early 70s, including the enigmatic Pacific Gas and Electric Company. Tom Marshall came from Bluesberry Jam. His ensemble released their first album in 1968. Now, it went nowhere, but a performance at the Miami Pop Festival later that year got them signed by a major label. That begat their second album, which gave us one of the great songs of the summer of 1970. After that, everybody quit. The band reformed with all new company members, shortened their name to PG&E, and then dissolved in 1973. So this is their high point. Are you ready? The Pacific Gas and Electric Company.
There's rumors of war, men died and women crying. If you breathe the air, you'll die. Perhaps you wonder the reason why. But wait, don't you worry. A new day is dawning. We'll catch the sun and away we'll fly. It's better than any. It's powerful music. It's easy to sing. Are you ready? Sit by the front. Are you ready? Not to be alone. Someone's coming to take you home. If you're ready, then we'll carry you home. Sit by the front. Are you ready? Not to be alone. Someone's coming to take you home. And if you're ready, then we'll carry you home. Yes, I'm ready. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. I've got to know, yeah. Yes, I'm ready. Sound real good.
Put your hands in the air like you just don't care.
Hey, thanks for attending Old School. Willie DeVille loved the blues, and then he got swept up by the New York City punk movement. His band, Mink DeVille, wrapped lots of genres into a raw package that included blues, Cajun, and R&B. Then Willie went to Paris, and it all took on this sidewalk cafe slant. So add romance and a little wine to the concoction, and you have the backdrop for the 1980 album Le Chat Bleu, The Blue Cat. Here's Mink DeVille with Just to Walk That Little Girl Home.
It's closing time
In this nowhere cafe, there's no way in the world I'm gonna let that girl let her slip away. No, I can't explain just what's happening to me. I can tell that guy who's sticking close by her side knows her more than just casually. But there's nothing that I wouldn't do. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do just to walk that little girl home. Just to walk that, just to walk that little girl home. Flashing smile, her searching eyes are a promise, it seems, of having all of my dreams finally realized. But I can't ignore, hey, that guy by her side. I know he can see just what's happening to me. There's a look on his face he can't hide. But I'm telling you, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do just to walk that little girl home. Just to walk that. Just to walk a girl home. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do just to walk that little girl home. But I'm telling you, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do just to walk that little girl home. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. No, there's
Old School class dismissed.
Suck it before the venom reaches my heart.
Back in '63, 4 teenagers from Queens formed the memorable Shangri-Las, whose sexy harmonies echoed romantic walks in the sand and falling in love with the leader of the pack. Was it the leather jacket? Was it the grease? We'll never know. We do know the girls pulled some wildness on the road, like the time they jacked a motorcycle that belonged to New York DJ Murray the K, and it was eventually found on the roof of Brooklyn's Fox Theater. Here they are from 1965, produced by Shadow Morton, Betty and Mary Weiss, Marge and Mary Ann Ganser. Sophisticated Boom Boom, the Shangri-Las.
I was walking down the street, and it was getting mighty late. Well, the truth of the matter is, this poor girl had been abandoned by her date. When from out of nowhere came this music loud and clear. Let me see, from over there?
No, over there.
Over there?
Yeah.
Well, I opened up the door, and much to my surprise, the girls were wearing formals, and the boys were wearing ties. And I feel that I should mention that the band was at attention. They just stood there all so neat while they played their swinging beat. So I grabbed this little boy who came strutting across the room. I said, "What's that?" And he said,
"Sophisticated boom boom."
It's been long overdue. Sophisticated boom boom. We've been needing something new. Sophisticated boom boom.
"Now stand up straight and tall, like your back's against the wall. Take 2 steps forward and shake your hips. Boom, boom." Shake your hips, boom, boom.
When you're out with people, do you know what to do?
What to wear, your manners and your etiquette too.
Now here's a friendly cue for you in good taste.
Hi, this is Mary of the Shangri-Las with a few useful words about gift receiving. When you accept a gift from a boy, show him how much you appreciate it. The mere fact that he gave you one means a lot. Use it as soon as possible. Don't be disappointed that it's not an expensive bauble or the perfume you've been hoping for. It's as wrong to accept a personal, expensive gift from a fellow as it is for him to give one. He probably doesn't want to offend you or risk parental disapproval. As old hat as it may sound, it's still the thought that counts.
That was a good taste tip for you. Now here's something else that's good taste too.
Closing off today with Sophisticated Boom Boom from the Shangri-Las. This is Retrofit and it's old school. I'm Professor Mikey. Thanks for listening today. The songs we heard were, clunk, the songs we heard today were Are You Ready from the Pacific Gas and Electric Company. They released that April 22nd, 1970. Just to Walk That Little Girl Home was from Mink DeVille, a Capitol album released in 1980. And the great Sophisticated Boom Boom from the Shangri-Las came out in November of 1965. Support music and always be digging. Join me next time when Retrofit presents Old School. You can subscribe to Retrofit for free or for whatever you think it's worth at retrofit.substack.com.
There has to be something we can do. We can't just leave them stranded, lost in time.
We're not giving up yet. Not until I've rewired every circuit and checked out every system.
Mike with you on Old School. Psychotic Pineapple came from Richmond, California in 1978, received a major shout-out from Johnny Rotten and the Sex Pistols, and are remembered today for some great posters that starred Hawaii's favorite fruit as a full-time stressed-out resident of punk rock's loony bin. Bass player John C. Berry eventually found himself in Vox Pop, but that's further down the road. Right now, it's 1980. And Barry's playing alongside drummer Dave Barry, organist Alexei Kurlinsky, and guitar wacko Henrikus Van Holtman. From the album Where's the Party, it's Psychotic Pineapple, and Hang On to Your Life.
And now we may party.
Mikey with you. This is Old School. The life of Nico took some amazing turns. She appears in Fellini's La Dolce Vita. She recorded a single with Brian Jones and Jimmy Page on guitars. She moved to New York, fell in with the Andy Warhol bunch, and appeared on the first Velvet Underground album. Her solo career saw her working with the likes of Lou Reed and Jackson Browne. She died of a brain hemorrhage following a bicycle accident on Ibiza in 1988. Here she is from her fourth album, produced by John Cale, Nico and Janitor of Lunacy. Wayman Glasgow lived from 1911 to 1976. Now, he changed his name to Buster Brown when he started playing blues harp in his native Georgia in the 1940s. In the 1950s, he made an abrupt switch and moved to Brooklyn, where he remained obscure until about 1959 when he was discovered by Fire Records owner Bobby Robinson while he was singing in a barbecue joint. Buster Brown delivered an unlikely top 20 hit called Fannie Mae, which kept him in bookings through the early 1960s. Now, here's a 1960 cover of a Louis Jordan song from way back. The late Buster Brown harp and all with Is You Is or Is You Ain't My Baby. I may have to listen to this show again. If you're the same way, you can save it in your podcasts and check out Old School anytime. Today we heard Hang On to Your Life from Psychotic Pineapple. Janitor of Lunacy was Nico. And Is You Is or Is You Ain't My Baby from Buster Brown. Join me next time when Retrofit presents Old School. You can subscribe to the newsletter at retrofit.substack.com. See you next time.
The bad part of town, where the sun never shines, where brutality is a way of life, and where people just, they're really not very nice at all, really.
Professor Mike with you. It's hard to believe that America was having a love affair with the Watergate scandal in 1972 when brothers Mark Mothersbaugh and Gerald Casale formed their de-evolutionary band called Devo. Kent State University art students in Akron, Ohio, the group centered their music around the theme that everything was moving backward instead of forward, becoming more mechanical for the herd mentality. Mankind had evolved from mutant brain-eating apes. Makes sense. Here they are with a couple of songs played live at the Fox Warfield in San Francisco, recorded August 16, 1980. Be Stiff and Planet Earth. Devo live on Old School.
Be still.
Mikey with you on Old School. Joe Meek produced a number of British pop hits before he took his life in 1966. One of his last songs is one of his strangest, from the early summer of '66, a song that inadvertently became a protest song when his label requested he change the lyrics that talked about flying saucers and refer rather to bombs and missiles. But, as they say in the music business, this is really British. Glenda Collins sings Joe Meek Works the Dials on It's Hard to Believe It.
Bombs and missiles are here to stay. It's hard to believe it, but I do. They hit the moon with mice and men. One day they'll be sending them back again. It's hard to believe it, but I do. How can they spend $1 million on a rocket head when there's millions on Earth in need of bread? It's hard to believe it, but they do. We're all in for a shock and soon when we find living creatures upon the moon. It's hard to believe it, but I do. I don't need a telescope to see what our future on Earth is gonna be. Don't you disguise it, no, no, not for me. I put my plea for all I'm worth. Let's first make this a better Earth. I really believe it, yes I do. I really believe it, yes I do. I really believe it, yeah, yeah, don't you? It's true. I really believe it, yeah, yeah. 'Cause it's true. I really believe it. Yes, I do.
Mikey with you on Old School. Now, the Trogs from Great Britain were leaders of a forgettable genre called caveman rock when they released Wild Thing in 1966. Legal problems kept them in a state of animated confusion in the U.S. Labels kept releasing old and new cuts simultaneously. But in England, they were huge. There was also this bad rap they got for not being intellectual. Be all and end all, most people know a handful of Trog songs, but there's more to this high-vibe, low-IQ bunch than Wild Thing, Think I Love You. Like this graveyard single we never got in America when it was released in '67, The Trogs and Night of the Long Grass.
was enough to melt my brain. Night of the long grass. Night of the long grass. I'm only left with misty dreams here in my mind. My life was shattered on that night that you were mine, and now there's nothing left except the memory. Or is it misery of how things used to be? Night of the long grass. Night of the long grass. I walk alone in dreams I cannot feel, I cannot see. The only thing I know is that you're only real to me. I see your hair hang down around your shoulders and your call. I laid your head upon a pillow made of leaves and straw. Night of the long grass. Night of the long grass. Night of the long grass. Night of the long grass.
Professor Mikey here. Thanks for listening to Old School on Retrofit today. We heard Be Stiff and Planet Earth, Devo performing live in 1980. Glenda Collins, It's Hard to Believe It from 1966. And the Trogs, Night of the Long Grass. This podcast is produced for educational purposes. Any and all music heard in this program resides within the public domain or is used within the guidelines of fair use provided for in Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1967. Join me next time when Retrofit presents Old School. Subscribe to the newsletter anytime at retrofit.substack.com.
That's all, folks.